being said, and of course, as always, without any further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's drama, shall we? Alrighty, the first story for tonight is, am I the a-hole for refusing to eat a smash cake? Yesterday was my nephew's first birthday, and my sister and brother-in-law had a little get-together at their house. When it was time for cake, they brought out my nephew's smash cake. It is exactly what it sounds like, a cake for the baby to smash up and get icing all over themselves for cute pictures or whatever. I kind of imagined that it would be the size of like a big cupcake, but they brought out a regular sized round birthday cake. Now I just kind of figured that they splurged and still expected the cake to just be for him to play around with, but after my nephew had gone at this cake with his bare hands and stuck his entire face in it, so my sister started scooping up the mangled remains and distributing servings to everyone. That was just a handful of family members, by the way, and everyone else was actually eating it. I declined because, seriously, I didn't want to eat something that has had a baby's grubby hands and body all over it, and I was surprised that anyone else did. My sister insisted I take a portion, and I said, really? No, that's gross. Now, I probably wouldn't have used the word gross if I wasn't on the spot, but I was not at all prepared to have to politely decline to eat baby spit. My sister was very hurt by that and told me later on a phone call that I thought was way longer than it needed to be for the severity of the interaction, that she thought I was being extremely judgmental, that it wasn't a big deal. We're all family. Don't participate if I really don't want to, but don't call her gross, etc. Am I the a-hole? Alright, it was explained in the story, but just in case you had never heard of this concept of a smash cake. See, I only know this because one of my sisters has a young child and did this for her child's first birthday. But if you're not familiar with what a smash cake is, it should be, a large cupcake-sized cake that the baby can get their grubby hands into and just, destroy it and play with it and get it everywhere on their clothes and on their face and on their hands and eat it at the same time. It's a fun activity. It's a fun activity for a child. It's fun to watch for the family, and it makes for some really fun and cute photos, okay? But I can't stress this enough. The smash cake is supposed to be traditionally just for the baby, just for the child. It is unconventional, to say the least, to buy a full-size cake and to expect smash cake to your family. So, in short, I do not think that this Redditor is an a-hole for refusing to eat this cake. Should the Redditor have called it gross? Maybe not, but they do say if I wasn't put on the spot, I probably wouldn't have used the word gross, but it was just kind of in the moment, so I mean, they do take accountability for that phrasing. But, I mean, for refusing to eat the mangled remains of a smash cake, the Redditor is absolutely not an a-hole in my honest opinion. And again, I find it really strange that you're not embarrassed to serve that to your family members after this toddler, this baby, has gone to town on it. I really don't understand. Oh dear. Oh dear. Family drama. Alrighty, moving on to the second one, which is, am I the a-hole for refusing to eat from my colleague's vegan birthday cake? I, 29 female, am working in an office and I have a colleague, Pia, who routinely makes fun of vegans. Okay. I am vegan and I never make a fuss about food. I go to the same restaurants as my coworkers during lunch hour and I can always find myself something to eat without announcing my dietary choices. Now, Pia keeps calling me out on it though, and she's very condescending about it. She keeps saying I am just having a phase. Oh, Pia. Pia, Pia, Pia. Be better. Be better, Pia. She keeps saying that I'm just having a phase, and she keeps offering me bites of her lunch that contain cheese and meat, and when I refuse, she goes, "Oh, come on, it's vegan, I promise, wink wink." Pia, grow the F up, that is incredibly childish. What the hell? It's very childish. See, the Redditor agrees with me. It's very childish and annoying, and other people I've even asked her to tone it down. See, Pia, at this point you're just embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing everyone around you, but she insists that she's just joking. Now, last week she brought a homemade cake to the office for her birthday, and when she put a slice in front of me, I politely thanked her, but I said that I can't eat that. She said the cake is vegan, and she made it specifically so I could eat it. But knowing her very loose definition of vegan, I asked a few questions about the ingredients, and she didn't check any of them for milk or eggs. So I thanked her again, but I refused the slice of cake. Now, she made a big scene out of it. She started crying and saying she just wanted to do something nice for me, and now I ruined her birthday. Some colleagues told me not to mind her dramatics, but my boss told me that it was her birthday and I could have given her cookies choices to anyone, and I never asked her to make the cake vegan for me, so am I the a-hole? So, firstly, be better, or get in the bin, okay? You are a grown woman who is making fun of somebody's dietary preferences. I'm sorry. I feel like when we're adults, we have to be able to move past that. It is incredibly childish what she is doing, to make fun of it, to call it a phase, to keep trying to feed the Redditor bites of her lunch that clearly contain meat and eggs or whatever, or cheese, and then say, oh, don't worry, it's vegan. Now let me ask you a question, right? Why would you trust this woman's baking or cooking or whatever? Why would you give her cake the benefit of the doubt if in the whole time that you've been working with her, she's been trying to get you to eat something that is not vegan, okay? And she's been calling it a phase. I mean, is it possible? Is it possible that Bia saw how much of a B word she was being and wanted to do something nice for the Redditor? There is a slight possibility, but I think it is highly unlikely. I think my theory kind of is that that cake wasn't vegan at all, and this was another sort of challenge for Bia to make the Redditor eat something that wasn't vegan and that she shouldn't and doesn't want to eat. I think that is more likely. But again, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. It's speculation. But from Bia's history, that's what I think is going on. Needless to say, I definitely think that the Redditor is not the a-hole in this situation. Even if she didn't have dietary preferences like she does, like she's a vegan, even if she wasn't a vegan, you don't have to eat a slice of somebody's birthday cake that they brought to work with them. I mean, you don't have to. If you don't want a slice of cake, you don't eat a slice of cake. They're all adults. Your choice, right? I don't see why this has to be such a big deal. And I don't see why Bia has to make such a scene. It is so incredibly childish. It's almost comical. So yeah, the Redditor, not the a-hole in this situation. Alrighty, moving on to the next one, which is, am I the a-hole for not having cake on her birthday? I, 34 female, have 2 boys who are 10 and 8 years old, and my husband, Dirk, 40 male, has a daughter from another relationship, Gwen. She just turned 6. We are a healthful household, and we teach moderation and controlling how much we take when we have treats. We are also very active, and every toys moving. However, Gwen is only here 2 weekends a month, and her mother has the exact opposite attitude. In all honesty, that woman's blood type is probably ketchup. Okay. I don't see the point in getting so mean about this woman. I mean, let's keep it civil, right? Anyways, similarly, Gwen is about 20 pounds heavier than a 5-year-old girl is supposed to be. It makes me sad for this child and her health, so when we get her, I try to teach Gwen about healthy eating and moving around. We have the boys play with her so she's getting active, and we make a distinction between foods that are healthy and ones that aren't. This is already triggering me, so I do apologize if this is triggering for you watching this. When I see one of the kids reaching for a treat food in the pantry, I'll ask, would you like to make a healthier choice? And Gwen is really getting it. She's always going for better choices now and is also asking for fruit at home, which is really good. Gwen's birthday ended up falling on one of her weekends with us, and while we were talking about what kind of cake to have, I asked Gwen about the healthier choice. No, you did not, woman. You didn't. On her birthday. My reasoning is, unfortunately, she's still getting all that garbage at home and it's just not good for a growing girl. She agreed and we decided to have some low-fat ice cream so she can still have a sweet treat. It's a brand that Gwen loves and asks for every time she's here, so she was happy with it. So what I'm hearing is it was absolutely nothing special because it is something she has every time she is there. I'm just making that observation. Until the next day, after she went back to Mum, her mum called us furious. She said that when Gwen got home and she asked about her birthday with us and her cake, Gwen started crying because she really did want cake but didn't want to make a bad choice. That is so incredibly heartbreaking. She accused me of fat shaming her and her daughter and that I owe her a cake and a big apology. I'm just looking out for the health of a child in my care, but I never said Gwen couldn't have cake and she could have had one if she said that she wanted one. I suggested sticking to ice cream because I care, but did I go about it in an a-hole way? Alright, you guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This story, kinda triggering, mildly infuriating. This Redditor, to me at least, sounds like an almond mum. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it is basically, the type of mum who will always encourage to always have the healthy option, to never have anything that is considered a bad food, to, limit portion size, encourage to have water when you're hungry instead of having food. Basically, a mum who creates an incredibly unhealthy relationship with food, and it is like they absorb things like a sponge, right? So it is a breeding ground for eating disorders and distorted body image, and like I said, unhealthy relationship with food in general. So I do not condone this. I think it is incredibly toxic. It is damaging and borderline abusive to the child. I'm sorry, like, not just the simple act of giving her low-fat ice cream instead of a cake, but the whole thing, you know, the whole, oh well, she picks out a treat, and I go, are you sure you don't want to make a better choice? Are you sure you don't want to make a healthier choice? This is destructive behavior. I just want to get that out there. I cannot blame the mother of Gwen 1 second for phoning up and being furious about this, because like I said, this is potentially and very likely damaging the mental well-being of her daughter, and she's only 5. This is something that could affect her for the rest of her life. It is. I mean, the fact that Gwen got home and started crying and said, I actually really wanted a cake, but I didn't want to make a bad choice. That is just, it just goes to show how much of an impact the Redditor is already having on her in her relationship with food. So, for all of the reasons that I've just explained, I am going to say that this Redditor is most definitely an a-hole in this situation. And really, she should have a good long look at herself and a good long think about the way she is destroying these kids' relationship with food. This is incredibly sad. It's incredibly sad, and I feel sorry for those children. I really do. If you have any other thoughts and opinions on this, please let me know in the comments below. Do you feel differently about this? I mean, this is an issue that is close to my heart, so I feel strongly about it. But, you know, if you have another take on it, please let me know in the comments. You guys are always welcome to leave your opinions in the comments. I read every single comment, and I enjoy, you know, just seeing what you guys think of these stories. Alrighty, let's move on to the last story for tonight, which is, am I the a-hole for selling my late wife's cake recipe to a bakery? My late wife passed 3 years ago. Our 2 kids were in their late 20s at the time. It's been a hard few years, and it is even harder now that I live alone. She had a lovely dark chocolate cherry cake. It was my favorite thing that she would make, and I always requested it for Father's Day. I am a terrible baker, and I've tried to recreate it from her notes. The notes are not very clear, and it never turns out correct. It is so depressing spending so much time on it and always getting it wrong. That absolutely breaks my heart. I have asked my 2 kids to try and make it, but they have refused to. Okay. I was told that they will not figure out the recipe and to stop asking. Nice. I went to a local bakery and asked them to figure it out. They agreed as long as I gave them the permission to sell the cake in the store. It same as my wife's cake. I bought one for Father's Day, and my kids were happy about the cake until I told them that the bakery did it. Now they are incredibly pissed that I would sell their mother's recipe to a bakery. This whole week they've just been telling me how much of a jerk I am for this, and I am wondering if I really am a jerk. All I wanted was to eat her cake again. Am I the a-hole? Oh my goodness, this story is so incredibly heartbreaking. This is a man who has just only 3 years ago lost his wife. And he probably, most likely, misses her so much. He even says about how difficult it is now that he lives on his own. And all the guy wanted was to feel closer to his wife by eating her cake again. And the kids refused, and he tried to do it himself, and it didn't work out. And I can understand why. If the wife, regularly baked cakes and all sorts, she wouldn't have written those notes in detail, because it would be for herself, right? To remember how to make this cake. So I'm not surprised that it is difficult for somebody who never bakes and who has no experience in that to figure it out and to make it exactly like how she used to make it, which is what he wanted. The fact that the kids were completely unwilling to help, that breaks my heart as well, because you can't tell anyone what to do, right? But in this case, I really feel like that would have been the decent thing to do for your dad. Like, literally all this man wanted was to eat his wife's cake again. So I think it was a very smart move to take the notes to a bakery and to ask them to figure it out. As far as selling goes, I haven't heard anything or read anything about him receiving money for this recipe. The bakery said that they would figure it out, and in return they would like to sell the cake. Which actually, in my opinion, at least, from where I'm standing, this is a good thing for the Redditor, because now he can buy his wife's cake. He said himself it's almost exactly the same. He can buy his wife's cake whenever he wants to. I think that's a really nice thing, and I think the children, adult children, are incredibly unreasonable for being so hard on him, for going to a bakery and asking for help, seeing as they didn't want to help their father. What was he supposed to do, right? So, needless to say, the Redditor, in my opinion, is not the a-hole in this situation, and I feel for the Redditor. I really do. I think it's incredibly sad, but I am so glad that after 3 years at least, he was able to eat his wife's cake again, and I'm so glad